2. Ooh, sounds loud. Sounds loud. Sounds loud. Okay. I hear a bunch of like stuff cutting out. Oh, maybe that's it. Did I fix it? Check 1, 2. It's like a heavy buzz. Whatever. I'm probably only gonna go for 40 minutes today because I got a dinner to go to, and I was working on other stuff. But we're gonna go into. Let me go right into this. I'll pull up the lesson thing real quick. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna break this up. So if we're not gonna get through it all today, and I'll just make up for everything tomorrow. We'll go through it. Whatever we didn't hit today. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading. Everyone's just able to read my Google Drive. Should have had that open earlier. But I'm just reading through the first little section. Just we're starting on the legs. In terms of center of gravity, one thing we'll always do. One thing we'll always do is you'll always have one foot under the head of the body to maintain a proper center of gravity. There we go. Just keep that in mind when we start this, and whenever you're drawing in the future. If you're ever drawing someone like some sassy pose, like they're not just standing with their legs in a A-frame, one foot needs to kind of be under the head, unless it's in a strange perspective angle. It wouldn't be literally under the head, but if you were to draw the perspective line from the center of the head through the body, the foot should line up. Okay. Let me just open up a document. Alright. I'm going to quickly, what I'll probably do is go through finding the big relationships in the poses. The big relational shapes and poses when the figures aren't standing. Draw arcs to connect key areas together. This discusses drawing arcs through poses when they're not standing to kind of get the relationship of the body parts. So, real quick, I guess before I start, if it's your first time joining me, it's Miguel Coronado. It's my name. I'm an illustrator. I'm doing all these studies are like the ones I'm doing on my stream are for me to develop. So, like, I'm not really trying to teach so much as I'm trying to just open up my study session that I do on my own to everyone. So, if I lose my train of thought while I'm talking, it's because I'm reading and trying to understand what I'm reading kind of live. So there's a little bit of a, it's going to be a little bit of a kind of me focusing, and I think it's been happening the last few times. I just haven't really stated it, like mentioned it. But this first section is talking about the center of balance and keeping the gravity focused from the head to the leg. So, or the foot. Sorry, not really the leg, but like it's probably further down. So in terms of like planting your character down, or any kind of figure you're drawing, which I guess they're all characters. Basically, very rudimentarily, what it's saying is just that, excuse me, no matter how you're going to draw, like, um, the legs, like if they're only going to be focusing the center of their balance, center of their gravity, not balance, but center of gravity, if they're only focusing it on one foot, then that one foot needs to be lined up directly underneath the head. It's a little, like, way too off. I'm adjusting my drawing as I go. I'm trying to speed up a little bit just because I got to be somewhere. I'm not going to be able to be on for the full hour, but I'll make up for that tomorrow. I got caught up. My alarm to start the study went off, and I just turned it off because I was working on something else. And I wanted to make some more progress. So this is pretty much the diagram it's got. But the main, if you're just listening to this and like not actually following along, that's cool. But the main key point you got to pick up from this is that the foot that's carrying the weight needs to be under the head. You see? So if they have like if they're moving their weight to one side or whatever, you got to keep that weight above the foot. And like, I guess so, like, if you're to try and draw this from like a different perspective, and this isn't in the book, I'm just trying to like kind of try and demonstrate. Your imaginary through line that goes through the head, it would be like that. The foot would still need to line up underneath. This isn't exact. This is like a little off, but we understand what's going on. What I'm probably going to do now, the next part, it talks about finding relationships of the body parts in um, like non-standing poses. So what that means is basically you're gonna what it means is I'm gonna do it tomorrow, because I'm gonna skip over to the actual more deconstructive anatomy of the leg itself. So we'll go back over this posing and center of gravity stuff tomorrow. What I first want to do is really go into like the parts of the leg and the muscles of the leg. We'll worry about we'll worry about this stuff after we got an idea of how the leg operates. At least that's what I'd like to do. So anyway, it's not entirely great, but whatever. Okay, I'm skipping over, and I'll come back to this tomorrow. There are S forms in the leg muscles. S curves are found all over the body, and the legs are no exception. Here, the S curve is not found only in the large muscle rhythms, but also in the bones and their connections. The bones of the knee into the shin bone, and the smaller bones around the kneecap, hips, and ankles excuse me, exemplify this. So it's basically talking about the S curves. When drawing the leg, keep in mind that the muscles spiral over the form like an S rhythm. The muscles spiral over the form like an S rhythm. This rhythm is universal throughout the body, but bear in mind that while drawing in these areas, but it's also good to bear in mind while drawing these areas, rhythm keeps any form from getting too stiff in its design. One of these S curves is the sartorius muscle, the sartorius muscle, which is attached to the iliac crest and spirals down and around the inner wall of the leg. It acts as a major landmark, dividing muscle masses and surfaces like a fence between two gardens. The iliotibial band does the same thing on the outside of the leg. These divisions are usually where the strongest shadow patterns are formed in the leg, regardless of how active the pose is. S-curve rhythms are all over the leg. Okay, I'm going to draw this out. It's might take a little bit. So we've got, this is the quad, as far as like the muscle I'm drawing right now, so you can kind of get an understanding of what's going on here. And it's just describing how the muscles are, when you're thinking about the forms, we just have to keep in mind that the muscles are wrapping around like a spiral versus I think like when everyone starts out, like when they're drawing legs, they do this thing. They're like, okay, here's a thigh, here's a knee, leg muscle, and then here's a calf. And if you're really starting out, you don't include this part. If you're really starting out, you just go from thigh to knee to calf. Like, that's not how it works. You know, that's wrong. But I think everyone starts off that way. When they're younger or when they really just start drawing, like they simplify things a little too much, to the point where it takes away from the quality of the work. I know. I mean, I did that. That's why I'm saying that. But this S curve idea, if someone had told me when I was starting, like, hey, keep in mind that the muscles spiral, you know, I think that alone right there tells you enough to know that, like, this interpretation of the thigh muscle is wrong. I don't think I put the video from yesterday on YouTube yet. In fact, I think I'm pretty sure I didn't at all. So I'll do that. These will both be up in the few coming days, but until then, they'll be on the archive of the live stream. So I'll be sure to get them up before live stream decides to delete them, and it takes a few months, so everyone should be able to see them until live stream takes them off. It just kind of goes further across. I got a little confused just now drawing it because it's showing me there's a line mark that's coming from the kneecap, but I think that's just I'm not sure if it was trying to show us underneath the knee or what. But anyway. I got a message from someone on Facebook about joining the group. If you're here, all you have to do is follow along. I'm just going through this book that I didn't link in the chat. Hold on, let me make sure. Alright. Hey Miles, boop. Here's the book. If you're here, the person that I'm thinking about. I don't want to say the name. I'll let them decide if they want to say hello. But I'm going through that anatomy book. Excuse me. But yeah, if you're starting out in this kind of drawing, in this like, if you're trying to make it professional, and you're just starting out, you gotta not be afraid to post stuff online. Start getting it out of your head that people aren't judging you. I mean, let me rephrase that. People are totally judging you, but like all they're gonna think is, oh, this guy's starting out. That's all that matters. I mean, you don't need to worry about. No one's gonna see your work and just be like, wow, you suck. You should stop this. You should just stop what you're doing. You need to. You're starting out, so you're not going to be as good as the people that are, unless you've just been hiding for years working on your own, like Brad Rigney did, and just not talking to anyone. But that's kind of a lonely way to go about it. But if you're starting out, you should really start posting in the forum. Like, I don't really post in the sketchbooks, like the sketchbook threads, just because it's already enough for me to like get my drawings done, do the studies, and post what I do post. But like to post every single sketch when I'm like just, I don't really want to post every single sketch. I feel like I don't know, maybe I'd take a day and just post a bunch of stuff. But to just like do that every day and constantly, I just don't like it. I like posting the finished stuff or work in progress sometimes, but every single sketch, like I don't want to post every sketch. It's like trying to show someone every sketch in your sketchbook. Like even people in real life don't want to see every sketch. I don't like to see it. I like to see the cool stuff, but if it's like something really annoying or just dumb. Unless you're really cool, like you got really good work, it's different. It's just totally like a judgment thing, whatever. But I'm just honest. I'm being honest. These are kind of separated. These contour lines. I haven't watched the videos for this section yet, so I might be like drawing this out wrong. But I'm just trying to go through it a little quick right now, because for me the important part is to just understand how everything's attaching, not so much making the diagram look great. If I wanted it to look really good, I think I just go to life drawing and like focus on what it looks like for a living human being. So okay, and it's got these arrows. So the arrows. And well, I'll show you exactly what the book's trying to like. I think I understand how he drew the drawing now. It started with this base S shape, and then he built on top. That's why I'm seeing some of the sketch lines that were confusing me at first. The way the drawing started off, it's like this, like this S from here, and it goes through, and then there's another S that he basically, I think it goes from the pelvis, but we don't see that, and it lines up with the top of the patella, which is the kneecap. So you got like this hourglass rhythm, and then from the kneecap you have another S shape, or like an S curve it's like this, and that goes down. And this is actually, the kneecap should be a little further up here. You see how it's going from S to S, and it's basically a bunch of curved lines that are connected, and then from there he went back on top and drew out the actual forms. And I say he, I'm talking about Ron Lemon. If there's anyone in the chat that doesn't know what I'm following along through and didn't bother to look at the link, in which case, look at the link. But everyone else, I think everyone else has already been on this. Or if you're watching this in the future and this is your first video you found or something, talking about the book Imagine Effects with Ron Lemon. S-curve rhythms all over create stronger connections through the forms. There's two legs kind of spread. I'm trying to figure out which ones I want to draw today and which ones I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm kind of skipping around because I know I have limited time. Let me jump down to this part. I'm just going to kind of read out some of these things. So it says comparing leg muscles and arm structure and mapping out the knee. So it's saying the arm and leg have quite similar proportions with regard to tendon mass versus muscle mass. Even the upper and lower portions of the limbs have similar divisions. The upper two-thirds of each segment is muscle mass. The upper third usually contains the largest bulk of the muscle, and the lower third is mostly made up of bone and tendon. The upper part of each segment is rounded like a cylinder. The lower part, the wrists and the ankles, terminate in a block form. So, let me draw this out. There's a bunch of little lines here I want to kind of make sure I'm paying attention to. I might be drawing this out wrong, because like I said, I need to go back and view the video. But I'll go back in and, like I did last time, I'll kind of correct myself tomorrow if there's like a radically different procedure to doing this that'll kind of help you understand how things work. Then I'll come back on and talk about that. I mean, I don't really talk. I just go through it, and y'all can just watch me try and get through it. That's really the whole thing that's going on here. People are just watching me struggle. Well, I don't think struggle, but like there's particular techniques that are being used here. Okay, so this would be like, I'll just line it up with that line. We got this major form, which is the quad and its surrounding muscles. Arcs down and comes off from here. Creates like this teardrop. Doesn't terminate, terminates higher on this side, lower on the other side. This is the tendon that's attaching the patella to the quad. This is the patella. Simplifying the shapes. But the drawing is too, not just me. This is another muscle mass, another form, and the actual like quad part's like right here. Or I guess it's quads, so that they're all the quad technically. You can kind of see how it's forming. This is the tendon. Okay, it's not perfectly straight, but tendon and a greater tendon back here, another tendon, and this actually could have gone lower. This actually goes all the way to the patella, so I kind of messed that up. So that muscle form goes all the way to the kneecap, but then the tendons kind of finish it out, like that, something like that. Oops, come on. Oh, I'm on the wrong. I'm on the wrong part of my Wacom tablet. There we go. Let's see. We got two muscle groups up here. And another here. And then this line from this part of the quad, it almost connects to here, and this one actually, he made it in one stroke like this. But it looks like he went back in and rounded it off. But like to kind of show you that that's how that works. And then there's this skinny muscle that wraps all the way down. And the whole reason I'm drawing this out is just to have a comparison with like the relationships of the groupings and like the tendons versus the muscles. This would be the inner, this would be like the groin area here. Excuse me. These would be the muscles you pull if you accidentally did the splits or something. Or like the muscles you tear, or whatever. Let me divide this into thirds. About there. So this says this one's actually a little less bulky. Okay. So this one, this is labeled bulk. I probably could have put the label better place, but whatever. Bulk, and this one says taper. Bulk, taper, and this last third, which I guess will be right here. Yeah, that's right. Tendon. So this is where it's loosely, like, the majority of this region is where the tendons start. This is where the muscles taper, and this is where the majority of the bulk of the muscle is. Actually, sorry, I actually need to shrink this. There's his leg goes past the guides that I set up, so like. Yeah, this looks more correct. Excuse me. I just drew them. My guides are different. Like I put my guides in a different place than the guides he had on here. So his cuts through here, which kind of makes more sense because the bulk didn't really line up with the bulk. Yeah, so the bulk of the muscles up here on the top, you know, and then tapering down midway. I say midway, it's like the middle third. And you got tendon, and he sectioned it off like a curve. But then next to it, he's got the arm. And the arm, the guides for the arm don't actually match up with the legs. Like he kind of drew them separate, and I think they just put them, they laid them out together in like this spread. So it's not going to. It's not going to line. Well, it's going to line up because I'm going to make mine line up, but. Let me just quickly go in here and put the arm in. Okay, so it's just the proportions of the arms and legs. That's the thing we're really focusing on. And one of the reasons I like drawing this diagram in particular is just to kind of get a grasp on the muscle groups that are simplified. I mean, you don't need to. For me, I don't want to go in there and like render every single muscle out. That's kind of simplified versions of them. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Because then, depending on the character you're actually trying to draw, what you see in those muscle groups is going to vary. Oh, God, what is that? Oh, wow, that's already, it's been 40 minutes. Doesn't feel like any time at all. Well, I gotta go. I drew a few things, not that much. Um, I'll make up for this tomorrow, but I was working on stuff, so it's all good. Let me just get the arm done. Yeah, I know. This was the day that my alarm went off earlier to come on and do the study, but I was in the middle of working, and I was like, but if I just spent 30 more minutes, I could be that much closer to the next step. And I spent like 30 more minutes, and I was like, oh, but if I spend 30 more minutes, I'll be that much closer to the next step. And then I did that again, and I'm drawing this dude, this skeleton. I can show you this skeleton thing. I gotta fix him up a little bit, but you get together with me and Matt at some point for sketching ZBrush stuff. Yeah, we should get together. There's some guy, I don't know if you know this, there's a guy, I don't know if he's in here. Helix? Is Helix in here? Helix, Helix is in Austin. Anyway, he's been coming to these daily sketch group things for like about the first week. But it wasn't until this week he mentioned that he was in Austin also. So we should meet up with him, see what he's doing. But yeah, it was really interesting. He's just like, oh, you in Austin too? And I was like, oh, why don't we know each other? Why don't we hang out? Why don't we come in the sketch group? All the same things. Helix, hope you're not really annoying, because otherwise we're going to have to, like, avoid you. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you're cool. Doing the sketch group stuff. Boot / boot. Just say that in real life. People come to, like, Starbucks, we are sketch nights at Starbucks in Austin, but people just come there and you're just like /boot it's not working. Everyone's not. Anyway, so this the way it's working here is it's like that. No, it's a little higher. I guess the top starts here, and then this is here, and then the tape, oops, wrong button. Taper starts here, and then the bottom of his guide goes through here. So, right. JK. But come on, if you really thought that was serious, we probably don't want to hang out with you. Take things too seriously. Bulk. Taper. Man, okay, I'm gonna have to do this tomorrow. I'll go back over, like, I'll finish this up. There's a bunch of stuff on the leg, though. There's that stance stuff about the center of gravity. And then there's, like, breaking up the leg from behind, kind of showing it in perspective, breaking it into, like, prisms, showing some of the major muscles, the cylinders interacting with cylinders. There's like several drawings of the bottom half of the leg. And then there's a very, not complicated, but like, there's a very particular set of legs he drew that have a bunch of curves all over them. And then it goes into some more afterwards. Yeah, so there'll be a lot to do on here. And I get to watch the videos before tomorrow too. So it'll give me some time to watch the videos. And then I'll get back to this. But yeah, I had to go. I'll put them up on YouTube. Anyone that came in, thanks for joining me. Sorry if it was short today, but we'll do it tomorrow longer. You know. if you want to keep going, you should find the Michael Hampton book or join in on CJ's live stream later, unless you already streamed, in which case, sorry you missed it, but it's on live stream, so you could just go back to the archive. And I think he's going to the Michael Hampton book, and you can kind of, I have that open right here. It's got a bunch of little gestures and stuff. You know, it breaks down the forms into basic 3D shapes, three-dimensional shapes. Curvature of the spine, pelvis. The shapes created by motion and whatever else. He's reading through it, so like he knows more about it than I do right now. I'll go through this later. I want to go through it. But I thought it was convenient that the anatomy book was on the shelf the day before we were going to start the anatomy stuff, so I had to buy it. And I was like, oh, I'll use this. Anyway, thanks for joining, people. I gotta go. Sorry, again, apologies. But, some said he's better than none. Was it free? Oh, the Hampton book? That was free. The anatomy book, I got it at Barnes & Noble. I got it up north, though, at the Barnes & Noble at near the Cheesecake Factory off of Capitol Texas Highway. Carlton couldn't find it at the South one. But they should still have it. They had a bunch. And I mean, I don't think they're going to sell out. Unless Carlton's in here. Carlton, I don't know if you're in here, but I will be purchasing you one tomorrow. I did not mean to be waiting so long. But I was going to pick him a copy up. Anyway. But I just haven't yet. Sorry, Carl. I'm really sorry. I'll get it for you. Cool. Thanks for joining, people. Sorry it was short, but I got to go do stuff. And I'll be on drawing tomorrow and doing studies too. Ooh. I'm going to put some music on for everyone. Quick outro. The music's D. Anthony Parks. D. Anthony Parks. Just in case anyone's wondering.